Welcome to Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. Sit back and enjoy these great stories and memories of the Kingsmen Quartet.
Welcome to this episode of Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Josh Griffin and Brian Hudson. Brian, how you doing, sir?
Josh, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'll tell you what, last week's episode with Wayne Maynard, I learned some stuff I didn't know about Kingsmen or Wayne Maynard, especially Child, who they originally picked to sing the song.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And now that he mentioned that, I was like, I'd like to hear that version of it if anybody had like a sample recording of it, if that was such a thing. But that'd be pretty neat to hear, you know.
That would
Ernie
be.
Phillips being featured on Child.
That would be a true Behind the Crown,
Yes.
piece of information for sure. Thank you for joining us on the podcast this week. This is our part 2 of Wayne Maynard's interview. This is dedicated to the message and the men and the music of the mighty Kingsmen Quartet, in case you're joining us, Behind the Crown podcast. But before we get started on part 2 of our interview with Wayne, Josh, we've been having more people been sending messages, man, left and right, and get text messages and emails and everything else. And I even had a Pony Express guy come by just a few minutes ago and brought me a letter.
Brought you a letter.
Want to know what our piece of useless information is going to be this week. So I'm hoping you got something good for us, because I got a little spot in my brain that's a little empty. Well,
yeah.
My wife would probably say I have several spots in my brain pretty empty. But what piece of useless information do we have tonight?
Well, hopefully this will fill the spot for you. There's only one letter that doesn't appear in any American state name. Right quick, like, can you guess what it is? Right quick, like
one letter that does not appear in any state's name.
Yes.
I'm going to say X.
He says X. All right. Well, there's an X in Texas.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Strange thing about that, but anyways, we'll go on. There's a Z in Arizona, but no Q in any state's names. Letter Q. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
How about that?
Well, I don't know why I said X. Texas.
Well, that's the only one, I think. Yeah, Texas is. Yeah. So that's fair.
Well,
yeah.
Q. Q's not a very popular letter, apparently.
Obviously not.
Apparently not.
Oh, apparently not. That's right. Hey, gracious.
Well, Josh, let me introduce. You got to introduce Wayne last week. Let me introduce a hero of mine, one of my singing heroes, and man, a guy that I've looked up to for years. His voice, not only just his voice, but being around him a little bit. Lot of, when I was a teenager, my brother and myself and my cousin, we had a little gospel group in southern Indiana, and we went down a couple times with Wayne, and he worked with us and was so patient with us. And you're just a true hero of mine, buddy. And I appreciate you having you on the podcast tonight.
Yes.
How about a special hand for Wayne Maynard? Wayne, good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys too, and thank you for the nice intro there, buddy.
Well, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well,
and I remember those nights here working with your brother and your cousin. You guys had a good sound.
Well, we had 2 speeds, Wayne. We had fast and slow. That's all we had. We didn't have anything in the middle anywhere. We opened up with a fast song. We went to a slow song. Did another fast song. Sang another slow song.
New generation, that was the right?
New generation, yeah.
I remember that. Man, that's been a day or two, ain't it?
It has been a few days. It's been a few days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, the all the good stuff that's come my way. I'm thankful to have been able to do that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're a legend in the Kingsman world, and a legend in gospel music, and man, we're just thrilled to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Wayne, we'll kick it right off right quick. Like, end of last week was talking a little bit about buses and all, and I think and I'll just go ahead and throw this in for Brian asked his question about the same thing, but was that one of your least favorite thing about life on the road, the bus troubles?
Yeah, because when you were with the Kingsmen, if you drove, you were the bus minister.
Oh,
that was your title.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know whether they said that when you were there or not, Brian, but I was the bus minister. Any repairs that got done, the bus minister had to tend to it. So I had to get somebody to come help or whatever, or unless
Yeah.
I could. I've laid up under them a lot on the side of the road.
Oh my.
Oil and water and hot and burnt and all that grease everywhere, and you get up and try to clean up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, let me ask you this right quick. You mentioned no cell phones back then. If you was broke down like that, I mean, just walk to
Yeah.
maybe
You
go
had
to the closest town. Is that right? Hitchhike or something?
you hitchhiked and
Yeah.
you got to a telephone
Yeah.
somewhere and made a phone call, unless somebody stopped. Usually a state trooper or policeman or whatever would stop and say, can we call somebody? Yeah, we need help or whatever, blown tire, whatever it was. And we kept a list of people, that we thought could help us in the states we were in.
Okay.
And it looked like a big Rolodex.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guarantee you. I guarantee you.
It's
Oh,
not like it is today.
yeah.
Since talking about buses, what I'm doing now is driving for Gaither. So
Okay.
I drive a crew bus for Gaither, and I drive Bill's bus. Also, we carry or have 3 buses that go for the vocal band. And I gave up my seat, so all I'm doing is co-driving now, which is a whole lot easier than tending to the
Oh yeah,
bus.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
So if the bus breaks down, it's on the primary driver. It ain't on Wayne.
Oh, good. Yeah, you gladly hand that mantle over.
I've had my share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long story short, the tragedy that happened to the Nealons,
Yeah.
Mhm.
their bus driver, of course, obviously lost his job the day that they all perished
Yeah.
because, more or less they were out of business, if you will.
Right.
And so he lives in Indiana.
Okay.
So I talked to him, and his name's Isaac. I said,
Okay.
Isaac, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm moving back home. He was living in Georgia. He moved
Okay.
back home. I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I don't know. I said, come drive for Gaither. I'm ready to give up my seat.
Oh wow.
So I said, all I'm going to do is co-drive. I've got
Yeah.
5 million miles in, so I've had enough.
Wow.
So anyway, when he came on board, I started co-driving, and he rode with me a couple of weeks. I showed him the routine of what we did, and the rest is history. He's got it, and I don't go out but maybe 4 or 5 times a year now, and I love it.
Really? Okay. You liking that?
It's a
You liking
whole
that?
lot easier when you don't have to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
to go anymore.
Yes. Well, Wayne,
But I'm
you
enjoying
talked
the retirement years.
Yeah.
yes, for sure. Well, and I've had people say, "Well, why don't the group get a new bus?" I said, if it's a new bus and an old bus, it doesn't matter. They're all going to break down at some point.
Yes.
They're all going to break down at some point.
Absolutely, it just hurts more when it's new.
That's that's
It
true. That's true.
you've got
Well,
$5,000-$10,000 a month of bus payment and insurance, and then it breaks down.
yes. And then you still got to make the payment even though it's broke down for 2 or 3 weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
I can remember
Wayne,
sitting on the side of the road with a blown motor.
Ooh.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, what was
Oil
one of your
everywhere.
favorite things about the road, Wayne?
Mm.
What was
Getting
one
to
of your
be with the
favorite
guys
things
out
about
on the road.
Yeah.
I miss the guys
Yeah.
being together out on the road on the bus. I back in my day, I didn't play golf a whole lot because I
Right.
slept because I drove most nights.
Right.
But I enjoyed the people out on the
Yeah.
road and being on the bus with the guys. That was my 2 favorite things.
Yeah. Okay. How about food?
Me, food. Oh,
Yeah. Was there
Ernie.
a favorite thing you like to see that people brought?
Oh,
Well, for me, it was real
yeah,
food.
all of it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I had people say,
yeah.
"Well, what was your favorite thing?" The cake. People bring cakes and brownies and pies. For me, I like the real food. People bring real food. For me.
Oh,
So
yeah,
the Kingsmen,
yeah.
the cooks were so good. Some of the cooks that brought real food was phenomenal. Bring entire meals, you know.
Absolutely. I can remember going to people's houses. I don't know. We'd get there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because we'd start loading in about
Yeah.
4 or 5 o'clock, and we would go and eat. And you just knew you were stuffed, but the food was just phenomenal. I
Yeah.
mean, Ernie did all of the booking when it came to the food. Believe it or
Really?
not.
Okay.
And in my day, Ernie was the guy that they contacted.
Okay.
But he would say, "Well, we're going to go to such and such's house." Everybody go, "Ooh, this is going to be good." And it wasn't necessarily fried chicken. I mean, it might have been a fish fry.
Yeah.
It could have been Mexican or Italian or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, when they would mention certain names, you'd go, "Oh yeah, this is going to be good."
Oh, that's good.
Oh, goodness.
That's good.
Oh, Wade, let me ask you that. Since we're talking about the road a little bit, we'll jump over to this side of it, being on stage. Playing bass guitar and playing with the band, playing with Anthony Berger, Greg Fox, and Beaver, Gary Dillard. Y'all had like, a real tight sound, but how long did it take since you was a new guy coming in? Did you just fall right into it, or did it kind of, sometimes you may have to work work it out a little bit and just figure out, how'd that go about?
Well, when I came, I was I don't know, a mediocre bass player, really. I wasn't really that good at it, but Anthony helped me a lot. I would watch his left hand because that's what had to be interested in. And then, of course, then I started learning the Nashville number system and all that stuff. We played a lot of studio stuff too.
Yes.
People don't know. Hamill would bring a group in, whoever it was. Somebody would contact him. They want to record, and they want to use the Kingsmen band.
Yeah.
So I started learning the Nashville number system, and of course, wherever I was at, I was close to Anthony, where I could watch his left hand.
Yeah.
So I could follow him, and if it was a lick that you had to play, then we'd just have to work it out.
Yeah.
And then you would know that we played the same song the same way every night, almost the same tempo every night. If it was too fast, Greg would say, "All right, boys, you're not going to a fire."
Right. Yeah. I've had somebody tell me that in church before too, playing bass one time, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, talk bass guitars. I was very fortunate that I got that Music Man from Leo Fender.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember that, Brian?
Well, no, but tell that story, because I've heard Mark Trammell tell that story. But tell that story for everybody. We'd love to hear that.
Well,
yes.
Well, when I was with the Kingsmen, we played the first time we went to the West Coast. I was playing bass and driving, and I was playing a Fender Precision.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember where we were at, some church out on the West Coast, and this guy walks up and bib overhauls and a slide rule in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I appreciate you playing one of my basses." He said, "Hi, I'm Leo Fender." And I about passed out. I'm going, "Really?" And he said, "How would you like to try my new model, which was the Music Man?" I said, yeah, absolutely, I would." He said, "Well, I'll get some information." So him and Eldridge talked. They figured it out where we were going to be, and he wanted to know my full name. He wanted my initials. I said, "Wonder what he wants with that." And then when I got the guitar, on the paperwork, it had my initials and the serial number.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No,
that's
I'm
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Trammell's bass had that as well.
Really?
I'm not sure of that, but I'm pretty sure it did, because it was the amp and the guitar were a matching pair.
Yes.
Wow.
And he and Forrest White, the guy that designed the headstock for the Music Man, brought the guitar and a whole box of strings.
Yes.
And the amplifier, everything matched.
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I'm standing there. I'm about to pass out. I don't
Uh-huh.
know
I would
whether to
imagine.
cry, scream, or shout hallelujah or
Yeah.
glory to God or something. I'm going, wow. Why would
Yeah.
he, he said, we wanted to reach in or dip into Southern gospel music. And we figured the best group to do that with would be the Kingsmen. And the next one would be the Cathedral Quartet.
Wow.
So
That
I'm
is
going,
That is incredible.
so I still got that bass.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys, Brian, you'll know my son Kenyon,
Yeah.
but he's got the guitar at his house in Carmel.
Okay.
I don't have it at my house. I haven't played it in probably 2 years, but he
Okay.
keeps it. He plays it at his church.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He takes it to his church and then back home.
Yeah.
I've got a 5-string that looks just like that 4-string. I had it built. It looks just like the 4-string.
Wow.
And so if I play bass at all, of course,
Yeah.
the new contemporary music's a little different.
Yeah.
So I use a 5-string for it. So,
Okay.
but we have a bass player at church, and 98% of the time he's here, so I don't have to play a whole lot. But
Yeah.
I still enjoy playing once in a while. I do all
Yeah.
the sound at church,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
and stuff like that. And like I say, we just designed a whole new PA set, and it's been great. Our church is growing, and so we're hanging in there like a hare and a grilled cheese.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll
Goodness.
reach out to Kenyon and I'll have him take a picture of that bass guitar and have him send it to us.
Okay.
We'll put that on the Behind the Crown
Yes.
podcast Facebook page. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
We'll put that out there where people can see that and have him get a close up of that the serial number.
Serial number.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah. It is actually there's a plate on the case that's got the serial number on it, right under the handle.
Yeah.
There's a plate on there.
Wow.
Now we had to have the case redone because it got tore up through the years, dragging it in out under the bus. You know how that goes.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah.
But I changed strings every other week because I had so many strings, and that guitar it still sounds great today.
Wow. I'll mention this right quick, and we'll move on. But I'm a huge fan of Kingsmen bass players. Yourself, Tim Stewart, Arthur, Trammell, Jason Self, Grant Barker, all those guys, and I play bass too at a church and all, and with a local gospel group here in town. But that's pretty neat. Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting to get a picture of that and put it on the Facebook page. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I'm sure. Just reach out to Kenyon, and I'm sure he'll do that for you.
He's an incredible musician.
Yep.
Let me tell you, he's an incredible musician.
He still plays steel.
Yeah, man, he can evermore play that steel.
Do you remember Beaver's blue steel?
Yes, I do.
The Blue Emmons?
Yes.
When he passed away, Kenyon's got that steel guitar, and Beaver signed it, autographed it for Kenyon.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is.
Miss Judy and was gracious enough to let him have it, and I went with him to pick it up, and I watched him and Beaver cry and hold each other, and how much they loved each other. Beaver was his mentor.
Wow.
Good.
And Kenyon can play just probably about every lick that he's learned off of those records because of Beaver.
Wow.
Good.
Well, that we talked about last week about you took time for me when I was a kid, and that meant so much to me. And I'm sure for Kenyon could tell the very same thing, like you just said. Gary took time for him and mentored him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. I'm getting up there, and old Josh, he's a young pup here. He's a young pup, but we need to mentor the generation behind us. We really should,
Yeah.
And not just musicians, but for the young men come behind us, we as godly men, we ought to strive to mentor the ones coming up behind us.
Yeah. Not to get off the beaten path too far, but let me give you just a little short testimony, if you will. 2 years ago, I was on the road with the vocal band.
Okay.
We were in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Okay.
Well, my left side started hurting really bad, coming up my hip and up through my chest and my left arm, and I thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
Well, come to find out, I was all right until I got up out of the driver's seat to try to walk. I couldn't
Okay.
walk 10 feet with it, and I'd lose my breath almost.
Mm.
So lo and behold, on the way home, that stupid old bus blows a water line.
Oh no.
Oh.
And Gene McDonald
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
came back, brought me his bus, and put my people on the brown bus, the band
Okay.
bus. I drove 500 miles to Nashville. I couldn't hardly make it. And then I got to Nashville, and Jimmy, Bill's driver,
Yeah.
was there waiting on us to take us on to Alexandria, Indiana.
Okay.
And they put me on the bus, and I laid on my back all the way there.
Wow.
I made it home. I had to drive 2 hours and 10 minutes from there back to Bedford in my
Wow.
car. I made it. Next morning, I thought, well, I better go to the doctor. So
Yeah.
I got up to go and have a cup of coffee. I couldn't even walk from the bedroom hardly to the kitchen.
Wow.
And I told my wife, I said, I've got to have help, and I've got to have it now. I'm not going to make it. And I was out of breath. So they got me to the emergency room. Long story short, they flew me to Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis, and I had a blood clot.
Wow.
The doctor, he said, Mr. Maynard, you've got less than an hour to live. I said, what do you mean an hour to live? He said, if we don't get that out, you're going to die. He said, I don't know where it's going to explode in.
Right.
So they got me in the operating room, and I thought, I'm there by myself. My family couldn't get to me. I'm going to die by myself. So you get your heart right with God real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not that I wasn't a Christian, but buddy,
Right.
when you
Check it up.
say
Yep.
this is it, you
Yeah.
start taking notes and you start
Yep.
checking up and you're making sure. And then Kenyon got to me, but I was already in surgery.
Okay.
And they laid me out, and I had to watch it on TV. They couldn't put me to sleep.
My.
So they said it would kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay. So, boy, you know, I watched the rods and everything going through my lungs and through my heart and all that stuff. Scared me to death. I mean, I'm nervous
Yeah.
wreck. He said, I want you to know something, Mr. Maynard. I've got you. And all I could think of was God saying, I've got you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've got you. I've
Yep.
got you.
Good.
And when he got done, he said, you want to see what I took out of you? I said, yeah, I think I do. So he held out a towel, and I
Okay.
counted roughly 20 blood clots.
20.
He said, no, it was one big blood clot. And he said, your heart was strong enough that it blew it out, and it was in your lungs. That's why you
Wow.
couldn't breathe. He said, two things should have happened. And he said, I don't know why. He said, but the first one should have gone to your brain and killed you, or your heart should have exploded.
Wow.
And then I told him, I said, sir, I can tell you why God's not done with me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he said, I can see that, sir. I can see that.
Wow.
So to this day, I'll always be thankful that God's allowed me to be where I'm at today. I should have been dead, but by the grace of God, this old man's still here.
Yeah.
I'll be
Amen.
71 my birthday, and thank God I made it to 71.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And God has a purpose for all of us. And
Absolutely.
there's
Absolutely.
days I'll call my sweet mother, and she's in a nursing home now in Southern Indiana, and I'll say, Mom, how you doing? Just another day in the nursing home, she'll say. I said, well, Mom, at least you was on God's wake up list this morning.
Yeah.
She'll say, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I said, yeah, you were on his list. I said, a lot of people didn't make that list today, but you were on that list. And so God is not done with you. So we need to all take that. We need to take that to heart. All of us do.
Yes. I worked with a lot of guys that retired and died.
Yeah.
6 months after they retired, they're dead. And I'm going, I've been retired 5 years, and thank God for every day that I've got.
That's right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne, let me ask you a question. You were on 2 and I will say for me, Big and Live was always really considered the 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 greatest Kingsman live album. But to me, Live Naturally,
Absolutely.
Me too.
me,
Yeah.
my favorite live album that you all ever did. And so, and you were also on live at University of Alabama. That's hard for me to say for some reason. I don't know why. It's hard to get that out. But but do you have any behind the scenes stories on either one of those albums, the Live Naturally or the University of Alabama? You have any like behind the scenes
Let's
either
see.
one of those records?
Behind, I guess I call it the double live album, Live Naturally.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the only one that I know of that any group's done a double one. There was somebody many years ago, like the Imperials or somebody like that, released a double live album.
Okay.
But I don't think anybody else has done that since the Kingsmen.
Okay.
But back in those days, and I don't know, did you do any live albums with them, Brian?
I did a couple of videos. Well, we
Okay.
did one live album. Yes, it was called it kind of like a Big and Live 2, you know. It was
Okay.
recorded at Gold City's homecoming. But
Okay. All right. Well, you remember how long those days were. We would start at 7 o'clock in the morning, loading in and setting up. And you remember the tape trucks that had to set out back. It was an
yeah,
18-wheeler that had everything in it. And there were lines and cords and microphones all over the building. You remember
yes,
that?
yeah,
Well, that was the longest day. You changed strings. They tuned the piano. I don't know, you know how it
yeah.
is. They come in about 3 hours before time to start, and they're tuning the piano. Then you got to retune all the instruments. Then you got to make sound checks, and then you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you just barely had time to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
Now,
goodness.
the
Well, let me
University
ask
of
you one little
Alabama.
yeah. I
Go
was going
ahead.
to ask you one little technical question. So, like those nights when you all did those, like, did you sing a little bit and they listened to it in the truck
Ah,
before anything
Absolutely.
anybody ever
Yeah.
got in there?
Oh yeah.
Did they do any
Oh
of
yeah.
that?
We would go through I don't know, 3 or 4 songs, and I
Okay.
mean, and sing them like we were going to do them live. Just go
Yes.
at it.
Okay.
I mean, whatever endings that was on them, we did them.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make sure they had levels right and this, that, and
Okay.
the other. Of course,
Okay.
the mixing comes and mastering comes later,
Right.
but you had to have a certain amount of headroom in there where you didn't splatter or
True.
whatever.
Yeah.
You had to have, and back then everything was done with mic cables and through splitter boxes, and it wasn't no digital stuff like it is today. So
Yeah. Wow.
it was the old school 4-inch, 3-inch, whatever tape it was. I don't remember
Yeah.
now, but I can remember when we recorded that double live album that we had to take a break in there. We tried to figure it out to where it would be a break, like let's say 10-minute break, bathroom break, if everybody
Okay.
goes, intermission, but it
Yeah.
didn't work out. So we had to stop the concert so they could change reels.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can remember they would whoever the producer did the talking to Fox. Fox was the one that they dealt with. But they'd tell Fox, well, we need a break so we can, change reels. And so he told Hamill, said, you're going to have to do something here because they're got to change reels. So, they didn't rewind. They just slapped the new one on there and
Yeah.
changed it over. And so they had to go back and do all that stuff later.
Yeah.
But, the technical part of it is there was a lot of dialing in on those big boards. It's not like it is today where the computer does a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there were 900 knobs on one channel.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Well, we talked last week about, your feature on Live Naturally was Nearing the Shore, and
Sure.
man, and that's a great Squire song. And but man, the first ending, and even when you came back and you encored it, then you kind of slowed that verse down, and then you held that note for like 13 minutes, in there in the middle there. Man, you guys hit the encore ending, and I mean, just it split your head wide open. I mean, that tone you all had, you locked that. It was incredible. One of the best Kingsmen endings of all time is near the shore. I mean, just blistering.
It was stout. I'll say that.
It was stout. That's exactly right.
I'm trying to think. I think we did it from F to G, if I remember right. And of course, that put me on a G on see the sun as he shines here on the word here.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. Sometimes you can hook them, and sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I
it.
was able to hook it.
You hooked it.
Yeah, I was able to hook and hang on. Sometimes, like we talked last week, it just ain't there.
Yeah.
I've heard J.D. Sumner say many, many times, he said, everybody thinks I can sing bass every night. He said, sometimes I flub.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Well, after you finished on Nearing the Shore, it was so funny on the live record, on the Alive After the Double Live album. Hamill wanted so bad to let everybody know that's listening to the album that the people are on their feet.
Yeah.
So when y'all finish the song, he says something, and he said, well, what he says was, they're standing all over the building, Wayne.
Yeah.
He wants everybody to know that.
Hamill kept, you know how Hamill was. He pushed you.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't about Hamill. It was about putting us, the kids, out front, because he knew that we had to carry the mail.
True.
Because sooner or later he wouldn't be able to do that.
That's true.
And I think he was on his way to retirement when you were there, right?
He was, yeah.
Now he emceed some. He didn't sing a whole lot when you started, did he?
Right, correct, yes.
He's might sing 2 or 3 songs a night and do the talking.
Yeah.
Yep, he always wanted to do that, but when he got old enough, just like we all do, and he knew that his time was about done.
Yeah.
And so he was smart enough to know to push the kids out there. He would find somebody, and he would work with you, and he would push you. And those people, just like everything else, buddy, when they got done, he got done, you were almost a household word.
Yes. And he would use when he would, like, at the end of that phrase, he said, they're standing all over the building, Wayne. He made sure he put your name in there.
Yeah.
He wanted the people to know the names of the guys in the Kingsmen. Turn us around there, Beaver.
That's exactly right.
Around there, Anthony. Sing it again, Ray. He would always make sure, come on, Ernie. He would make sure he would say their names so the fans would know that's who that is. Well, they hear the voice. They heard the voice. Well, who is that? And other groups, they wouldn't say their name so much, and so you wonder, well, I didn't never know who sung that part. Hamill wanted the fans to know who was singing with the Kingsmen. So, and that's what that little phrase, they're standing all over the building, Wayne, I would say is a when I was emceeing from 2007 to 2012, when me and Harold Reed and Philip Hughes were the top 3 parts of the Kingsmen. If one of the guys sung a song and everybody's on their feet, the audience on their feet, I would say, so the guys could hear me, I'd say, they're standing all over the building, Wayne. I would say it every time. You're going to laugh. So I used to your name lots of nights, Wayne. I'm just telling
you.
Now. And every now and then,
I'll tell you
what.
Buddy.
During those years, I was singing some baritone, so I'd put in a Wayne Maynard ending. We'd hit an ending, and I'd put a little Wayne Maynard in that ending as best I could.
Yeah.
I'd have Harold Reed look over and said, "Good job, Wayne." He
You remember the line, "Go on Glory Road," that Fox is lying on there?
Yeah.
Every night I'd try to do that thing just like he did. I'd try to hit because he wasn't flashy with it, but it was in there every time. And Hamill would say, "That's the good part of the foundation of the chord." I appreciate that. He
Yes.
did. He told me that. But if you messed up, he'd let you know it too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But if you done good, you
Yeah.
got to sit by him on the bus.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Hey, man, that's good.
Well, one more thing I do want to ask about for Live Naturally, because it was such a monster album and one of my favorite albums. I think that the 4-song where you guys do When My Feet Touch the Streets of Gold, and then you go right from there to Old Time Christian,
Uh-huh.
then you go to I've Made a Covenant, and then you go to Love Lifted Me, where Ernie hits the big high note. I think those 4 songs together
Yes.
is I would say if somebody maybe from another country said, "What's the Kingsmen? Who are the Kingsmen?
Yeah.
Give me a taste of the Kingsmen." I would play those 4 songs back to back, and I would say that right there is the Kingsmen. Those 4 songs.
Yeah, I agree.
It's 3 chords and a cloud of dust, no doubt.
Yeah.
But
Romp
man,
stomp.
those 4 songs together is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Album sales on that. Did you know the stats on that? I still
No, I
remember.
never did.
Well, Eldridge came, of course, he was in Nashville all the time.
Yeah.
But he went to Benson, and we sold 92,000 units of that album in 1 quarter.
Wow.
That's 180,000 records, because it was double.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I don't think anybody, if they have, I don't know it, but that's the stats. I don't think anybody's done that since we did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
92,000 units. And Fox, he's elated. Of course, everybody. And we were happy because we were part of it.
Yeah.
Of course, Hamill, he's going, "Whoa, well, what do you think, Fox?" He said, "That's great." He said, "Let's sell 92,000 more."
That's
Kingsmen
right.
have sold a lot of product through the years, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Goodness. Oh, mercy. Wayne, I'll ask you right quick. Was there a special moment that you can share when y'all was singing that God really just showed up and just blessed y'all on the stage and all just worked in the crowd? Anytime that comes to mind like that?
Probably the slower songs, to me, the ballads, because that's where that's where you communicate with the people. They some of the old timers would call it selling a song.
Yes.
I call it communication with your audience.
Yeah.
Because you're one-on-one. You get into a zone where it's just you singing, let's say, and you've got the feature on whatever part of it, and you start in on it, and you get in that zone, and let's say it like this: the Holy Spirit moves, and I've been out singing, whether it was child or whatever, and the Spirit of God would move, and I would just be in the zone and not realize what's going on around me.
Yeah.
Do you remember the little testimony that Hamill had me do on Child?
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I don't remember what I said until it was recorded and I heard it.
Really? Wow.
Because you talking about a zone.
Yeah.
I was in that. And the other stat that nobody probably remembers, we encored that thing 4 times.
Wow. That night.
Yeah.
That night.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Neither.
We kept what you've heard on the record was 7 minutes and 11 seconds or 7.5 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do any more because of radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they kept it at that with one encore, but we did it 4 times that night.
Wow.
And people, I mean, it wasn't me. I'm not taking any credit. It was the Holy Spirit. But people were running the aisles and shouting.
Wow.
15,000 people in the University of Alabama going nuts over a gospel song.
Wow.
And I'm going, wow, I had no idea what I said. I promise you, I didn't know. I didn't rehearse it. I didn't have any clue. All I could tell you is after it was over with, I knew that that's what God wanted me to say, evidently.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
That's
and
You ever
and
been
like
there,
you said,
Brian?
I have, I have, and I think it's because the reason that song was so effective. Yes, it's a great song, but like you said a little while ago about that song, that was your song because God, I believe God designed and ordained that song to be Wayne Maynard's song. I really believe that.
I believe that too.
That's what, and because he knew you could communicate that song, and that's probably why they didn't give it to Ernie, because it was as great as Ernie was, and Ernie was one of my heroes too, but that was meant to be your song, not Ernie's. That was meant to be your song.
I'm thankful that I was a part
Yeah.
of that era of gospel music. I'm so glad that God allowed me to do what I did. I know probably name you 10 people right off the top of my head that would just give their eye teeth just to do what me and you did, Brian.
Yeah. That's true.
Because there's 100 groups out there just
Yes.
dying to get out there and get to the place that we were, riding a bus every week and, making a living doing what we was doing and loved what we was doing.
Yeah.
But, I don't know how hard it is anymore. I've kind of lost touch as far as that goes, doing what I'm doing, just, here, there, and yonder, mostly in my church. So I don't get out much.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is. It's certainly a different world now in gospel music, like we were talking a little while ago about, now there's cell phones and, you can call your family right there from your hip, or in your pocket. You pull your phone out and call. And back, when I started, when you were there were no things as cell phones, and you had to find a payphone to call home. And
right,
you talk. Maybe on your first interview with you, were talking about you were gone for 31 days. For a West Coast trip, and the most I ever did was a 28-day trip, and I remember singing 17 nights in a row. We sung 17 nights in a row, and and we the 17th night was at Dr. Jeremiah's church. Big preacher way out there in San Diego. And I remember getting up, and he had all the cameras and everything. So we were going to try to do a live video that night. We're going to try to do a live video, and I didn't have a voice. I mean, I sung 17 nights in a row, and Jerry Martin was the tenor. He didn't have a voice, and Parker Jonathan, he didn't have a voice. And so we recorded. We recorded the songs, and they gave us a rough video to watch on the bus on the way out of town. We couldn't use any of it. We'd had to overdub every bit of it because we were. And so like you said a moment ago about people would give their eye teeth, but and this it's a hard life.
Yes,
doing that.
It is.
But God also blesses it when God moves.
Yeah.
And God uses us in spite of our weaknesses, in spite of our voice not working that night. God will always show up and say, you know what, boys, give it all you have. Do your best for me, and I'll bless you.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah. I say, if you give God your best, he's going to give you the blessing.
That's exactly right.
The blessing to me was watching the look on people's faces.
Yeah.
When you would walk on the platform and you hit that first song, everybody just comes alive. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It was for me watching the people in the audience,
Yeah. And hearing that when you were there, what was mainly one of your opener songs? What was an opener song for the Kingsmen back in those days?
God's in the Business.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We opened with it quite a bit because it was going to be the lead off on the live. And it was actually, that was double live.
Yes. Yeah.
It was I can remember when we learned the song, we were at a Holiday Inn and they had a room with a piano in it, and that's where we started learning the songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hamill and Fox had laid out the sheet music, and he, Hamill in his infinite wisdom, he said, here, I think, well, let's try it this way, and we'll try it this way. And then, finally you come up with something that he thinks is livable, and he'll say, all right, this is what we're going to tune on. This is what we're going to do. You know how that went.
I do.
I'm thankful for the Hamill School of Music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's right.
You mentioned Big Jim.
Yeah.
We've had several Kingsmen alumni that have passed in the last several years, and one of my regrets, we've been kicking around this idea for this podcast for about a year now, and I wish we had really started it a couple years ago, so we could have got Ernie and Squire and some,
Sure.
and some of those guys to talk to them. But so I'm going to ask you, I'm just going to give you some names of some of the guys that you traveled with. And if you got a funny story or something you want to share about them, feel free to jump in. Well, how about Jim McCulley, Big Jim McCulley? You have any?
Oh, Mac. Oh, man. Oh, we called him Hero. He was our designated bus driver when he came back to play bass. So I didn't have to drive as much, but I sat up with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mac would get hungry in the middle of the night. And so he'd say, hey, how about going back there and get me a piece of that cake or whatever it was we had on that bus? He'd say, now bring it up here. Now he said, no, you get in the seat and I'm going to sit and eat. So I'd have to drive while he sat up there and eat.
Yeah.
He just, oh man, he was, Mac was something. Great bass player, and he played the same thing every night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, how about,
not many of them can do that anymore, that?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about Gary Dillard a little while ago about, him mentoring Kenyon and man, Gary was so talented. Beaver was so talented,
He was.
But how about Big Ed Crawford? You sang with him a little bit. What any special stories or funny thing about Big Ed?
Well, now Ed, he drove the bus quite a bit too.
Right.
And the story about Ed is that he drove too fast.
Did you ever do speeding tickets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I woke up one night and I went up front and I felt the bus weaving. I thought, man, what's going on? Is the wind blowing or whatever? Yeah. He was flying. He was just, I don't know what possessed him to do that, but it looked like there was a bed sheet over the windshield. Fog. We were in West Virginia.
Oh.
And he is burning the road up. And I thought, if I'm going to die, I'm going to bed to die. So I went back there and covered up my head. But we made it. But man, he liked to drive fast. He drove his car fast.
Oh man.
How about Anthony Berger?
Oh, Anthony John. He and I shared a garage apartment together before he married Eva and before I married Cinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had he had a brand new Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
He parked in the garage, and I had a brand new Toyota Celica Supra. I parked mine in the garage, and we rode his old Ford Bronco truck. I think it was a Bronco. That's what we rode around in. Well, neither one of us would take our cars out.
Yeah. afraid to dent them up or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to get it dirty. He didn't want to get his Oldsmobile dirty.
Yeah. Well, you were only home a couple of days anyway. I mean, really, to be honest with you,
Now, if I went to Greensboro to see mom and dad or something, I would drive my car. Yeah. But other than that car stayed. I washed it, waxed it, and put it back in the garage. If Anthony or me needed to go to the store or anything, we'd get in that old red truck and here we'd go.
Wow.
Back in the day, Anthony and I were the designated record picker-uppers. We had to go to Nashville every week
Oh,
to
okay.
Benson and load his truck. Remember loading the bus?
I do.
We didn't
I
have
do.
them shipped UPS. We was
No,
Anthony
no,
Express.
no. How about little Ernie Phillips?
Every week, Nashville.
Yeah, every week.
Ernie,
Yeah.
sweetest guy. Every time I think of Ernie, I just think of how kind he was.
Yeah.
I never saw him get angry, upset. I never even heard him raise his voice. I never, like I say, Ernie was the sweetest tempered guy that I ever met. I think him and Squire were two peas in a pod when it came to that.
Yeah. 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 Ernie was he was one of those guys too that always took time for me. And when I got
Absolutely.
around Ernie
Yeah.
Phillips, I was a fanboy. I mean, I really was. And he's just
Yeah.
so kind, and I just loved Ernie, and not only just his singing, but who he was as a man, as he
Yeah.
was as a person.
Very godly.
He was, absolutely. Well, how about Big Jim? You mentioned a little bit about Big Jim. You got anything funny stories or anything on
Well,
Big Jim?
the thing about it is Hamill had 100 stories,
Yeah.
but when we were out on the road, Hamill, if you done good, he would let you sit by him bus. And then if you didn't do good, then you got bad mouthed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You better do what he said on the platform, because that was his domain.
Yeah.
And if you
Yes.
didn't do what he said on there, he would call you out right there on stage.
Oh yeah, in front of everybody.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
one night, Ray was, I don't know whether he's having trouble or just being lazy or what. He wasn't
Yeah.
hitting his notes. He wasn't hitting, well, cuz, he
Yeah.
wasn't hitting his notes. And Hamill, he said, wait, hold it. He stopped the program right there in the middle of the song. He goes to Ernie's mic, he says 1 2, and he takes his 1 2, and he goes to mine 1 2, then he goes to Ray Dean 1 2. He said, "You're loafing, Reese. Get on it." I mean, I thought I was going to die laughing. I mean, man, I about hit my knees on the floor laughing.
Oh, that's good.
Man, good.
But I got one more. How about Fox, Eldridge Fox?
Yeah.
One of the kindest father figures that I've ever known.
Yeah.
He treated me as good as he did Greg.
Yeah.
Whatever one guy got on the bus, everybody got on the bus. It was not, there was no stars. We were all equal in his eyes. He always treated me really good. I never had a complaint with Eldridge, but if you went somewhere to eat, he'd feed you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, Eldridge, he liked to eat.
He did like to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. But he
Oh.
treated me really good. And, he was another one that would, push you out there, put you out in front of the crowd. If Hamill wasn't there and he was emceeing, let's see, we did program in Indianapolis at the All Night Sing. Remember that?
Yeah.
We used to do them. Well, Hamill didn't make it one year. I can't remember what happened. He had the flu or something. He couldn't get on the bus and couldn't go.
Okay.
So Fox was the MC, and I sang lead. That was fun. But Fox, he would push you. He would do just like Hamill when it come to that. They're enjoying you, Wayne. Sing another one, or Ernie. Sing another one. Ray Dean, how about singing that again? Man, that was a good end. Do it again, and stuff like Anthony. Turn him loose. Do another piano solo or whatever. Or the band. He called the band out and hey, go do it. And he was, a lot of people thought that Eldridge was all business. No, not he was, but he was not to us. he was like my dad. Love him, miss him. I can remember the day that Greg called and said Dad had passed. I like to fell on the floor crying.
Yeah.
Because I thought, man, my dad's passed away.
Yes.
And I miss them. I miss all the old guys, Hamill and Ernie and all of them. I was thinking the other day, just me and Ray and let's see, there'd be one or two more around. Johnny Perrick.
Yeah.
There's all the rest of them gone. There's not many left. But I'm just thankful that I got to be part of that era.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, and talk about Hamill real quick. He was rough. He was gruff at times, and like you said a second ago, if you made a big blunder on the platform, he'd call you out. And I've often told people that I've come in contact with in the last several years, Hamill was rough, but he also made you a professional. It was about it wasn't I don't believe it was about purposely trying to embarrass you. He tried his best to make you a professional. He wanted you to be the very best you could be.
Teaching moments.
Yes.
Everything with Hamill was a teaching moment.
Yes.
I can remember when I first started, I don't remember, we were unloading and it was storming and I had mud on my shoes.
Okay.
And he called me out on the stage.
Oh.
And he said, go wipe your shoes off now. I said, oh, okay. Well, I had mud on the toe of my shoe. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in a hurry, we were setting up in the rain and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that either. Ooh, that was not fun.
They see the 2 hours you're on the platform.
Right.
That's the glamour part. They don't see the carrying in and carrying out in the blizzard and the pouring down rain.
Yeah.
And that's when it's going to rain when you're carrying sound equipment in. That's when it's going to rain.
Absolutely.
It won't rain all day until it's time to unload.
You put your suit on, comb your hair, brush your teeth, and you get in. Your hair's all messed up, and your suit's wet.
Oh, yeah.
you can't get to the butt. You can't get in the building fast enough.
No.
That's right. Wayne, we appreciate you coming on and being our guest again this week. Another great episode, and like I said, last week, learned some great stuff I didn't know about the Kingsmen, learned some more stuff. We appreciate you doing this, sir. Thank you so much.
It's been an honor. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. And Wayne, I want to personally thank you one more time for being a hero of mine through the years. And man, you just, next time you got a few days off and I'm heading toward Indiana, we'll meet up and we'll have coffee. We'll sit around and talk about people.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
Yeah.
We will, Wayne. And thank you for joining us on the podcast, man. It's been a thrill.
Thank you.
Hey, if nothing happens, we'll try to get a lot of y'all guys back together, get on here, and we may do a Facebook Live, but we'll be in touch with you about that in the future and just have fun with that. Get a bunch of y'all together and let y'all just talk, and I'll sit back as a Kingsmen fan just listen. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you guys take care, and thanks once again for having me. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this episode of Behind the Crown podcast. Be sure to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, too, we're on there as well. And feel free to like and share and follow the Facebook page Behind the Crown Podcast. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. If you would, please like, rate, and share this episode. Join us again for another episode of the Behind the Crown Podcast.